Good morning, students. Welcome to AP online classes for intermediate students. This is Prashastha Kumari. You are watching civics class. Today you are going to learn the last two topics from fourth chapter, that is Union Legislature. So those are law making procedure and amendment of the Constitution. Okay. Okay, so our subject is civics and we are learning from fourth chapter, that is Union Legislature, and today's topics are law making procedure and amendment of Constitution. Okay, with these two topics we are going to complete fourth lesson. Okay, so today first topic is law making procedure. Okay, so government consists of three organs, as you know. That first organ is legislature, and second one is executive, and third one is judiciary. Okay, so what is the main function of a legislature? Means to make law. So our country is having parliament as legislature and its main function is to make laws. Okay, today you are going to learn about that law making procedure, and the remaining topics you have learned in your previous classes itself about executive, that means about president, vice president, and prime minister, and union council of ministers. Okay, so the main function of executive is to implement the laws made by the legislature or Parliament of India, and the third organ is judiciary. In your next classes, you are going to learn about the judiciary. Okay. Okay, so let us see the distribution of legislative powers. Okay, so in our constitution, legislative powers are distributed among the three lists. Okay, so one is union list, second one is state list, and the third one is concurrent list. Okay, so legislative powers are distributed in these three lists, and the parliament is having power to make laws in the subjects which are mentioned in union list and also concurrent list. Okay, for example, defense, banking, currency, foreign affairs, communication, etc. So these are the some of the items, some of the subjects which parliament is having power to make laws on them. Okay, so next, concurrent list: education, forest, trade, marriage, adoption, succession, etc. Okay, parliament can also make laws regarding these subjects. Okay, so which are mentioned in concurrent list. Okay, next, state list. Okay, so state list consists of police, trade, agriculture, irrigation, etc. Okay, state legislature is having power to make laws on these subjects. Okay, so this is the distribution of legislative powers which is mentioned in our constitution. Okay, so now our Parliament of India will make laws which are mentioned in both union list and also in concurrent list. Okay, so let us know what is a bill. Okay, so before law, it can be called as bill. Okay, what is bill means? A bill is a proposed law under consideration by a legislature. That means bill is a proposed law. Okay, it has to undergone 5 stages before becoming into a law. Okay, a bill does not become law until it is passed by the legislature. That means in our country it is called as parliament. So parliament has to pass these bills in both the houses of the parliament, and next it should get the signature or assent of the president. Then only it can become into a law. So once a bill becomes a law, it is called an act or statute. So once a bill passes through all the 5 stages in both the houses of the parliament, then it can be called as law, and then it can be called as an act or statute. So every bill has to pass through 5 stages before it is placed in statute books. So every bill has to pass 5 stages before it becomes into a law. Okay, so let us know about the types of bills. So bills are mainly classified into two types. Those are public bills and private bills. So what are public bills means? Bills that are introduced by ministers in the parliament. That means by government. Okay. So these can be called as public bills. And what are private bills means? Bills that are introduced by any member of parliament. That means any member of parliament, either opposition party, other party member, other than ruling party member can also introduce bills in the parliament. So those bills can be called as private bills. Okay. So bills are again classified into four categories. Those are ordinary bills, money bills, finance bills, and constitutional bills. So what are ordinary bills? Let us see. So ordinary bills are concerned with other than financial matter. So ordinary bills are the bills which are not regarding financial matters. Okay, next one is money bills. So money bills are concerned with taxation, public expenditure, etc. That means these are regarding money matters, taxation and public expenditure. And next, finance bills. Okay, so finance bills are concerned with revenue and expenditure, or it can also be called as
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, students. Welcome to AP online classes for intermediate students. This is Prashasta Kumari. You are watching civics class. Today you are going to learn the last two topics from fourth chapter, that is union legislature. So those are law making procedure and amendment of the constitution. Okay. Okay, so our subject is civics and we are learning from fourth chapter, that is union legislature, and today's topics are law making procedure and amendment of constitution. Okay, with these two topics we are going to complete fourth lesson. Okay, so today first topic is law making procedure. Okay, so government consists of three organs, as you know. That first organ is legislature, and second one is executive, and third one is judiciary. Okay, so what is the main function of a legislature? Means to make laws. So our country is having parliament as legislature and its main function is to make laws. Okay, today you are going to learn about that law making procedure, and the remaining topics you have learned in your previous classes itself about executive, that means about president, vice president, and prime minister, and union council of ministers. Okay, so the main function of executive is to implement the laws made by the legislature or parliament of India, and the third organ is judiciary. In your next classes you are going to learn about the judiciary. Okay, okay, so let us see the distribution of legislative powers. Okay, so in our constitution legislative powers are distributed among the three lists. Okay, so one is union list, second one is state list, and the third one is concurrent list. Okay, so legislative powers are distributed in these three lists, and the parliament is having power to make laws in the subjects which are mentioned in union list and also concurrent list. Okay, for example, defense, banking, currency, foreign affairs, communication, etc. So these are the some of the items, some of the subjects which parliament is having power to make laws on them. Okay, so next concurrent list: education, forest, trade, marriage, adoption, succession, etc. Okay, parliament can also make laws regarding these subjects. Okay, so which are mentioned in concurrent list. Okay, next state list. Okay, so state list consists of police, trade, agriculture, irrigation, etc. Okay, state legislature is having power to make laws on these subjects. Okay, so this is the distribution of legislative powers which is mentioned in our constitution. Okay, so now our Parliament of India will make laws which are mentioned in both union list and also in concurrent list. Okay, so let us know what is a bill. Okay, so before law, it can be called as bill. Okay, what is bill means? A bill is a proposed law under consideration by a legislature. That means bill is a proposed law. Okay, it has to undergone 5 stages before becoming into a law. Okay, a bill does not become law until it is passed by the legislature. That means in our country it is called as parliament. So parliament has to pass these bills in both the houses of the parliament, and next it should get the signature or assent of the president. Then only it can become into a law. So once a bill becomes a law, it is called an act or statute. So once a bill passes through all the 5 stages in both the houses of the parliament, then it can be called as law, and then it can be called as an act or statute. So every bill has to pass through 5 stages before it is placed in statute books. So every bill has to pass 5 stages before it becomes into a law. Okay, so let us know about the types of bills. So bills are mainly classified into 2 types. Those are public bills and private bills. So what are public bills means? Bills that are introduced by ministers in the parliament. That means by government. Okay, so these can be called as public bills. And what are private bills means? Bills that are introduced by any member of parliament. That means any member of parliament, either opposition party, other party member, other than ruling party member can also introduce bills in the parliament. So those bills can be called as private bills. Okay, so bills are again classified into 4 categories. Those are ordinary bills, money bills, finance bills, and constitutional bills. So what are ordinary bills? Let us see. So ordinary bills are concerned with other than financial matter. So ordinary bills are the bills which are not regarding financial matters. Okay, next one is money bills. So money bills are concerned with taxation, public expenditure, etc. That means these are regarding money matters, taxation and public expenditure. And next, finance bills. Okay, so finance bills are concerned with revenue and expenditure, or it can also be called as budget. Okay, so budget is nothing but is an estimation of revenue and expenditure. Okay, those bills can be called as finance bills. And last one is constitutional amendment bills. So the bills which are concerned with the amendment of the constitution can be called as constitutional amendment bills. So this is the brief description of types of bills. Okay, so let us move to the 5 stages of the bill. So every bill has to pass these 5 stages before it is converted into a law. Okay, so let us see a brief description of all the 5 stages, how a bill becomes a law. So the first stage is introduction of bill. Okay, the bill will be introduced in any house. Ordinary bill can be introduced in any house of the parliament, either in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha. Okay, so the bill will be introduced in the first house and it can be called as stage 1. So what happens in stage 2 means first reading, second reading, third reading will be completed. So, okay. And next, stage 3 consists of sending that bill into second house. Okay, so that means the first house has approved the bill and it has sent the bill to second house, and it can be considered as stage 3. So here also first reading, second reading and third reading will be conducted. Okay, so this is about stage 3. And next, stage 4. Okay, stage 4 consists of joint session. So when the bill is not approved by the second house, that can be called as a deadlock, and that deadlock will be resolved by joint session of both the houses of the parliament. Okay, So and next stage 5 consists of the signature of the president. That means assent of the president. So if both the houses of the parliament passes the bill or approves the bill, then it can be sent for the assent of the president. Then it can be called as the stage 5. So after passing stage 5, then the bill can be called as law. Okay, so this is brief description of how a bill is converted into a law. So let us learn this topic in detail. Okay, stage 1. So stage 1 consists of drafting of the bill. That means writing of the bill or preparation of the bill. Okay, so when there is a proposal for introducing a bill in the parliament, the concerned ministry gathers information and submits the bill to the union cabinet. So any minister can introduce a bills in the parliament. So before introducing the bill, so he has to draft the bill. Okay, so that bill will be drafted, the information will be gathered, and it will be submitted in the union cabinet meeting. So if the union cabinet meeting accepts, then the permission is given to introduce the bill in the houses of the parliament. So if it accepts, then the concerned minister introduces the bill in either house of the parliament with a prior notice of 8 days. So in the cabinet meeting, if the bill is accepted, the proposal of the bill, introduction of the bill is accepted, then with a prior notice of 8 days, it can be introduced in both the house, either house of the parliament. Okay, the copies of the bill made available to the members of parliament before 2 days of the introduction of the bill. So all the copies will be printed and they will be supplied to all the members of the parliament before 2 days of the introduction of the bill. Okay, so this is the stage 1. That means drafting of the bill. So let us move to the stage 2. So stage 2 consists of 3 readings. Okay, so in stage 2, there are 3 readings, namely first reading, second reading, and third reading. So let us learn in detail what is first reading and what is second reading and what is third reading. Okay, so let us learn about first reading. So what is first reading means? In the first reading, the member in charge of the bill introduces the bill in the house with the permission of the presiding officer after the question hour. Okay, so the member in charge of the bill introduces the bill in the house with the permission of the presiding officer. That means if the house is Rajya Sabha, presiding officer is chairman, and if the house is Lok Sabha, then the presiding officer is speaker. Okay, so it will be introduced after the question hour. So let us see what is question hour. So question hour means in both the houses of parliament, first hour is allotted to question hour. Okay, so what is question hour means? The first hour allotted everyday session in the everyday sessions of the parliament can be called as question hour. So during this question hour, the members can ask questions pertaining to public issues, administrative inefficiency, and role of the government. So these questions are of 3 kinds, namely starred questions and unstarred questions and short notice question. So okay, so the questions may be asked by members of the parliament to the government members. Okay, that means government ministers. Okay, these questions can be 3 types. So one is starred question. So starred questions can be answered orally by the ministers, and unstarred questions can be answered in written manner, and short notice questions also can be answered in orally. Okay, so this is about question hour. So question hour is the first hour allotted in the parliament sessions. Okay, both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay, no discussion takes place in this stage. During first reading, after the introduction of the bill, no discussion takes place in this stage. Only main points will be introduced, or main points will be explained by the minister concerned. Okay, so if any member opposes the bill, the presiding officer allows a detailed discussion. If any MP or member of parliament opposes the bill, then the presiding officer allows a detailed discussion in the first reading itself. Otherwise, he will not allow detailed discussion in the first reading. So then bill will be published in the Gazette of India. So let us see what is Gazette. So Gazette is the official journal. Okay, so the Gazette is the public journal or official journal of an authorized legal document of the government of India. So this is a document, and in this document every action of the government of India will be published. Okay, so this can be called as Gazette of India. So every bill is after the introduction of the bills, they will be entered or they will be published in the journal of the government, that can be called as Gazette of India. Okay, so that is about the first reading. Okay, so let us move to second reading. So under second reading, there are two stages. Okay, there are two stages in the second reading, namely first stage and second stage. So what happens in first stage means, in this stage, general discussion takes place on the bill. So the member in charge of the bill requests the House to consider the bill immediately, or refer the bill to the select committee, or refer the bill to the joint committee, or elicit public opinion on the bill. So during second reading, in the first stage of the second reading, the bill will be discussed in detail. Okay, general discussion will be conducted on the bill. So after the discussion, the member in charge, that means the member who introduced that bill, will request the House to consider the bill immediately. That means to approve the bill immediately, or to refer the bill to the select committee. So let us see what is select committee. So this is select committee. So this is a small group of members of parliament drawn from all political parties belonging to only one house of the parliament. That means select committee consists of members of parliament belonging to all political parties. Okay, so it can be called as select committee. Okay, so next, refer the bill to the joint committee. So let us see what is joint committee. So joint committee means this is also a group of members of parliament but belonging to both the houses of the parliament. So that is the difference between select committee and joint committee. So select committee consists of only one house members, and joint committee consists of both the members of the both the members of the parliament. Both houses members of the parliament will be as a members of joint committee. Okay, so as soon as the bill is referred to the select committee or joint committee, it meets time to time and makes a report and submit within the time fixed by the parliament. So if a bill is referred to either select committee or joint committee, they will study on that bill and they will submit a report within the fixed time of the parliament. Okay, so next one is elicit public opinion on the bill. So there is another option. So that means eliciting public opinion means asking the public opinion on the bill. Okay, there are four options. Okay, either to consider the bill immediately, or refer the bill to the select committee, or refer the bill to the joint committee, or eliciting public opinion on the bill. Okay, so any four of these will happen after the introduction of the bill. Okay, next coming to the second stage. So in this stage, the House considers the report of the select or joint committee. Okay, in the second stage of second reading, so the committee or either select committee or joint committee will submit the report to the parliament, and here that committee report will be considered. Okay, so that is about second reading. Okay, so let us move to the third reading. Okay, so in this stage, all the clauses of the bill shall be considered. Okay, so in the first reading, only introduction of the bill, only main points will be discussed. In the third reading, all the clauses of the bill shall be considered. That means the bill will be discussed in detail. Okay, next, the member in charge of the bill requests the House to pass the bill. So the minister or the member in charge of the bill who introduced the bill will request the member. Okay, the presiding officer conducts voting on the bill. So after the discussion is completed, then the presiding officer, if the House is Lok Sabha, that is a speaker will allow for voting, and if the House is Rajya Sabha, the chairman will conduct voting on the bill. So if the House approves the bill with simple majority, it will be sent to the second House of the Parliament. So after conducting voting, the bill will be passed or rejected by the House. So if the bill is passed with simple majority, then it can be sent to the second House of the Parliament. Okay, so that is about third reading. And next stage is stage 3. Okay, so in this stage, consideration of the bill in the second house. So first stage and second stage are in the first house of the Parliament. Okay, so in stage 3 is in second house of the Parliament. So what happens in stage 3 means the second house may accept the bill with or without modifications or completely reject the bill. So here in the second house, the bill may be accepted without any modifications, or the bill will be rejected completely, or the bill will be accepted only with modifications. Okay, so next, if the second house approves the bill, then it will be sent to the president for his assent. Okay, so if the second house is not referring for modifications or rejecting the bill, then it will be approved by the second house. Okay, so without any obstacle, the bill is approved in the second house also. Then the next stage is sending that bill to the president for his assent or for his signature. So otherwise, the bill will be sent to the first house for modifications proposed by the second house. So if the second house is demanding modifications in the bill, then it will be sent to the first house itself, from where it has been sent. Then next, after that, again it will be sent to the second house. So if the first house agrees for modifications, then the bill is deemed to have been accepted by the two houses. Okay, the second house demanding modifications, that is why it was sent to first house itself. Then the first house agrees for modifications which were proposed by the second house, then the bill is deemed to have been accepted by the two houses of the Parliament. That means the bill is approved. The bill will be considered as the approved by both the houses of the Parliament. So if the first house does not agree for modifications and the second house is particular about modification, then it keeps the bill without accepting up to 6 months. Then arises a deadlock. So if the second house is particular about modifications and the first house is not ready to accept the modifications proposed by the second house, so this is the situation. So this situation can be up to 6 months. Okay, so up to 6 months it can be dragged, and after that it can be said that it is a deadlock. That means what is mean by deadlock means the one house of the Parliament accepted the bill and another house of the Parliament did not accepted the bill. So this situation can be said as deadlock. So what happens means after deadlock, joint session will be conducted. So that can be called as stage 4. Okay, so what happens in stage 4 means in case of deadlock, the president convenes a joint session of the two houses of the Parliament. So if the deadlock arises means on any bill, then the President of India convenes the joint session of both the houses of the Parliament. That means joint sitting. Both the members of the houses will sit together and discuss the bill, and voting will be conducted and the bill will be passed. Okay. This session will be presided by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. So that means joint session of the Parliament will be presided only by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, not by the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. And next, the members are allowed to propose modifications, and the fate of bill is decided by the decision of the majority members. So during joint session, again the bill will be discussed and the fate of the bill is decided by the decision of the majority members of both the houses of the Parliament. Okay, so then it will be decided whether the bill is passed or not. Okay, so until now 3 joint sessions of Parliament are conducted for Dowry Prohibition Bill 1961 and Banking Service Commission Repeal Bill 1978 and Pota Bill, that means Prevention of Terrorist Activities Bill in 2002. So until now only 3 joint sessions were conducted in Parliament of India. So all other bills are passed without any obstacles and without any disturbances. Okay, some bills may be rejected. Okay, so that is about a joint session. Okay, so joint session will be conducted only during the deadlock of the bill. Okay, next coming to the stage 5. Okay, so what is stage 5 means? President's assent. So president assent is required only after the bill is passed by both the houses of the parliament. Then only it reaches to president's house or Rashtrapati Bhavan for his assent. Okay, so when the bill is passed by both the houses or two houses of the parliament, the speaker sends the bill to the president of India for his assent. So who sends the bill means the speaker of Lok Sabha will send the bill to the president of India for his signature. Okay, so if the president gives his assent, then the bill will be converted into law and it comes into force. So if the president, without any hesitation, without any modifications, without any reconsideration, accepts to sign on the bill or to give his assent on the bill, then there will be no problem. That means the bill is converted into law. Okay, so if the president sends back the bill to the parliament for its reconsideration, the bill has to pass all the stages once again. So here the problem arises. So if the president is not ready to accept the bill as it is, he wants to reconsider it by both the houses of the parliament. So then the bill has to pass all stages once again in both the houses of the parliament, all the 5 stages, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, like that. Okay, so this is a long process. But for the second time, if the bill is sent for his assent, he cannot withhold his assent this time and shall give his assent without fail. That means president can send back the bill only once. So if the second time, if the same bill arises or if the same bill is sent also, he has to put his signature. He has to give his assent. That means he can stop only once. Okay, he cannot withhold his assent this time and shall give his assent without fail. Okay, so this is the lawmaking procedure for an ordinary bill. So let us learn about the money bill procedure. So there is difference between ordinary bill and money bill making procedure. Okay, so let us see how money bill will be introduced in the parliament. Okay, so money bill shall be introduced only in the Lok Sabha, not in the Rajya Sabha. That means that is the main difference between ordinary bills and money bills. So ordinary bills can be introduced either in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha, but whereas money bill shall be introduced only in the Lok Sabha, not in the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so they shall be introduced in the Lok Sabha with the prior permission of the President of India. This is another difference between ordinary bill and money bill. So generally ordinary bills are not having a prior permission of the president, but whereas money bill should be taken prior permission. Okay, prior permission of the president, then only they should be introduced in the Lok Sabha. And next, they shall be sent to the Rajya Sabha after the approval of the Lok Sabha. So these money bills will be sent to the Rajya Sabha only after the approval of the Lok Sabha. So in the Lok Sabha, they will be introduced after the approval of the Lok Sabha members. Then it will be sent to the Rajya Sabha. So what happens in Rajya Sabha means, if the Rajya Sabha fails to approve the money bill within 14 days, then the speaker sends the bill to the president, deeming that the parliament has approved it. That means Rajya Sabha also can stop that bill only for 14 years of the introduction date. That means Rajya Sabha is not having power to resend the bill or to demand modifications on the money bill, etc. Okay, so if the Rajya Sabha fails to approve the money bill within 14 days, then the speaker sends the bill to the president, deeming that the parliament has approved it. So after 14 days, that means after the approval or not approval of Rajya Sabha, it can be sent to the President of India for his assent. So that is the difference between money bill and ordinary bill. So Rajya Sabha can reject ordinary bill, but it cannot reject money bill. So it has less powers regarding money bills. Okay, so let us move to our second topic, that is amendment procedure of Indian Constitution. So with this, we are going to complete 4th chapter. Okay, so let us see amendment procedure of Indian Constitution. So Indian constitution borrowed amendment procedure from South African constitution. So in your previous classes itself, you have learned about the sources of the Indian constitution. So our constitutional features are borrowed from different constitutions. Okay, so this feature, that means amendment procedure, is borrowed from South African constitution. Okay, so next, Indian constitution can be amended by rigid and flexible methods in three ways. Okay, so Indian constitution can be amended by both rigid and flexible methods in three ways. Okay, what is meant by rigid method means? Rigid method means it is a very difficult process for the amendment of the constitution or for the changing of the constitution. So what is flexible method means? It is very easy process. It is very easy method to amend the constitution. Okay, so our constitution is a combination of both rigid features and flexible features. Okay, so it can be amended in three ways. So Constitution of India can be amended in three ways. That is by simple majority of parliament, and by special majority of parliament, and by special majority of parliament with the consent of half of the state legislature. So simple majority means half plus one, and special majority means 2/3 of members of the parliament, and the special majority of parliament and with the consent of half of the state legislatures means. So our country is having 28 states. Out of 28 states, 15 states has to accept those bills. So let us learn them in detail. Okay, so what are types of majority? So simple majority means half of the members present and plus one member. Okay, so these are the some of the examples or some of the provisions of the constitutions which can be amended through simple majority. Okay, formation of states, no confidence motion, vote of thanks to the president or governor address, censure motion, adjournment motion, discontinuance of the national emergency, money bill, finance bill. These can be amended by simple majority of the parliament. Okay, so next one is absolute majority. That means 50% of total seats in the house. So it can be called as absolute majority. And next, special majority. Okay, so special majority means not less than 2/3 of the members of the houses of parliament and voting. Okay, so there are some provisions which can be amended through special majority. Those are in the passage of constitutional amendment bill, and approving the continuation of national emergency, and seeking the removal of judge of the Supreme Court or High Court, or Comptroller and Auditor General, Chief Election Commissioner, State Election Commissioner, or members of Central and State Information Commission or Central Vigilance Commission. Okay, so these are some of the provisions which can be amended by special majority of the parliament. Okay, so let us learn the first method or first way to amend our constitution, that is by simple majority of parliament. Okay, the following provisions of the constitution are amended by simple majority. That means half of the strength plus one of both the houses of the parliament. Okay, so there are some examples. So first one is establishment of new states. That means establishment of new states. So already we are having 28 states in our country. So if another state should be established means it can be done by the simple majority of the parliament. Okay, so that means that that amendment, constitutional amendment, can be done by simple majority of the parliament, both houses. And next one is abolition or creation of legislative councils in the states. So we are having 28 states in our country. So out of 28 states, only six states are having legislative council. That means state legislature will also have bicameral legislature. So the one house is legislative assembly, another house is legislative council. So there is no compulsion for the state legislature to continue state legislative council. So that is why state legislative assembly can request Parliament of India to create or to abolish that house. Okay, it can be also done by simple majority of parliament. And next, coming to quorum in the parliament. So quorum means 1/10 of the parliament houses. Okay, so the minimum attendance is 1/10. So this figure can also be changed by a simple majority of parliament houses. Okay, so next, salaries and allowances of members of parliament. So salaries and allowances of MPs can also be changed. They can also be amended through simple majority of both the houses of the parliament. Okay, so let us learn about special majority of parliament and what are the constitutional provisions that can be amended through special majority. So let us see what is special majority means. A majority of provisions in the constitution are amended by special majority of both the houses of the parliament. So what is special majority means? 2/3 members of the parliament, members of the both the houses of the parliament, both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, has to approve those bills, those amendment bills. So then only they can be changed. So there are some examples. So those are fundamental rights. So fundamental rights in our constitution can be amended only by 2/3 members of both the houses of the parliament's approval. Okay, and next, directive principles of state policy. So this is also another feature which can be amended only by special majority of parliament. So here also both the houses has to approve that amendment, constitutional amendment bill with the 2/3 of majority. Okay, so let us move to the third one and third way of amending our constitution, that is by special majority and consent of states. So here special majority plus consent of states is required for the amendment of the constitution. Okay, the provisions of the constitution related to federal structure can be amended by special majority of the parliament and consent of half of the state legislatures with simple majority. That means parliament has to approve with the special majority. That means 2/3 members of majority, and state legislature, half of the state legislatures have to approve with the simple majority. So there is no time limit for the states to approve this bill. So the bills which can be amended through this third method of constitution amendment, there is no time limit for the states to approve this bill. They can take their own time for the approval of the bill. So some provisions like election of the President of India, matters related to Supreme Court and High Courts, distribution of legislative powers between the union and the states, representation of the states in parliament, etc., can be amended in this way. Okay, so these are the some of the examples which are mentioned in the constitution that can be amended through special majority and consent of half of the state. So those are election of the president. So already you learned in your previous classes how president will be elected. Okay, so president will be elected through an electoral college. Okay, so that procedure or that method can also be amended through this method. Okay, so matters related to Supreme Court and High Court, that means judges appointment of the judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts, their salaries, their allowances, okay, their promotions, transfers, the matters related to Supreme Court and High Courts will be amended by the special majority and consent of states, and distribution of legislative powers between the union and the state. So already in this class itself we have learned that distribution of legislative powers is mentioned in our constitution in 3 lists, that is union list, state list and concurrent list. So this list can also be changed by this method of constitutional amendment. That means union list can be reduced or union list can be increased, or state list and concurrent list can be increased or decreased. The items or the subjects can be increased or can be decreased. This can be done by this method of constitutional amendment. Okay, so next, representation of the states in parliament. Okay, so parliament houses will be represented by all the states is not equal. Okay, so equal representation to all the states, to 28 states is not there in our parliament. So based on the population, depending on the population, the seats of the parliament can be decided. Okay, so this representation of the parliament can also be changed, can also be amended through this method. That means a special majority and consent of states can be amended. Okay, so let us see how a constitutional amendment bill become an act. Okay, until now you have learnt about how an ordinary bill becoming into a law and how a money bill is converted into a law, and now you are going to learn how a constitutional amendment bill becoming an act. Okay, so in the first stage it will be introduced in either house of the parliament, that means either in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha. So constitution amendment bill can be introduced in either houses of the parliament, and after the introduction discussion will be conducted. So after discussion voting will be conducted. So after the counting of the votes, okay, so if the votes are equal, in favor or not in favor or equal, then the presiding officer, that means speaker of the Lok Sabha or chairman of the Rajya Sabha, can have casting vote. That means they also can vote. Okay, so can vote regarding the bill either to pass the bill or to reject the bill. So it is in their hands. So if it is in the case of tie, okay, that means if the bill gets equal number of votes both in favor or not in favor, then it will be in the hands of the presiding officers to pass the bill or to reject the bill. Okay, so if the bill is passed, then it will be sent for the assent of the president. So then the constitutional amendment bill will be converted into an act. Okay, so this is the process for the bill or constitutional amendment bill to become a law. Okay, so we have come to the conclusion of our today's topic. So with the assignment, so until now you have learned all the topics of fourth chapter. Okay, so I would like to give an assignment from today's topic. Okay, so these are the very important questions for your examination point of view. That is why I am giving these questions as your assignment. So all of you take your notebooks and note down these questions and prepare notes for all these three questions. You can get notes or you can prepare notes from this video itself. You can go through this video again and again. You can prepare your notes by your own and learn and prepare for your IPE exams. Okay, so I will dictate. Okay, all of you note down. The first question is, explain briefly about the stages of lawmaking procedure in Indian Parliament. Explain briefly about the stages of lawmaking procedure in Indian Parliament. So this question will be given for 5 marks. So here you have to explain all the 5 stages of a bill. Okay, so how the bill is converted into law. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 and stage 5 you have to explain. Okay, so next second question is, write a note on the types of bills. Okay, so second question is, write a note on the types of bills. So this question can be given for either for 2 marks or for 5 marks. So here in this question you have to explain all the types of bills. So general classification of the bills is public bills and private bills. Okay, so another classification is 4 types. Those are ordinary bills, money bills, finance bill and constitutional amendment bills. So these are the types of the bills you have to explain. Okay, so third one is, write about the amendment procedure. Write about the amendment procedure of Indian Constitution. So third question is, write about the amendment procedure of Indian Constitution. So this question will be given for 5 marks, and after getting this question in your IPE or in your exams, you have to explain about the procedure of amendment. So now itself we have learnt about the amendment procedure, that our constitution can be amended by three ways. Okay, so it can be by simple majority, and second procedure is by special majority, and the third procedure is by special majority and half of the consent of the, or half of the approval of the state legislature. Okay, so these are the three methods which we can amend our constitution. Okay, so these are the three questions which are very important from today's topic, and you have to prepare notes for these questions and learn for your IPA. So let us recall all the topics which you have learned today. Okay, so this is a constitutional amendment bill becoming an act, and this is by special majority and consent of the states. This is the third method of amending the constitution, and this is the second method by special majority of parliament, and this is the first method of constitution amendment by simple majority of the parliament, and this is the types of majority. Simple majority means absolute majority means, and special majority means. Okay, so this is the amendment procedure of Indian Constitution. This is the procedure how money bill will be introduced in the parliament, how it will be approved in both the houses of the parliament, and this is the stage 5. So stage 5 is president's assent. So with this stage, the bill will be converted into law. And this is stage 4, joint session, and this is stage 3, consideration of the bill in the second house, and this is third reading and select committee and joint committee, and this is second reading, and this is Gazette of India, so public journal or government journal. Okay, so this is about question hour, and this is first reading, and this is second stage. It consists of 3 readings, and this is the first stage, drafting of the bill, and this is the brief explanation of how a bill becomes a law, and these are the 5 stages of the bill. So these are the types of bills you have to learn, and this is what is a bill. Okay, so definition of bill, and this is the distribution of legislative powers in our constitution into 3 lists. Okay, so this is the government, and this is law making procedure, and today you have learnt about law making procedure and also amendment of constitution. Okay, so thank you one and all.